We've done ground source heat pump projects for schools, certainly. In the state of Washington and more broadly across the country, there's a goal of having carbon neutrality, right? In other words, reducing carbon footprints. And a lot of state facilities, in particular schools being one of those, are the first ones that are required to implement that reduction in greenhouse gases. And really, there's only a couple of options to get off of natural gas for heating. And one of the most efficient ones is ground source. You pump water out of one well, you run it through a heat exchanger, and then you return it back to the groundwater system in a paired well. So you can imagine how important the placement is of those two wells to make sure that the amount of water you're sucking out of one well, you're offsetting appropriately by pushing it back into another well. But you can't put them so close that the heat is going to just short circuit and go right back up. Then you've got this $1 million system that you planned for early on. You were finally able to permit it. You're finally able to construct it. You put it in the ground, it works for 6 months. The constraint there is that a lot of those schools have small footprints. So we need to make sure that we're very deliberately approaching how we design and approach those projects, because they've got to design them, permit them, pay for them before they're constructed, right? So we need to ensure that they're going to perform the way that the schools need them to before they start putting holes in the ground. Kind of a poster project for us was during COVID, we did the Washington State Public Health Labs project. So that again is a state facility that had that requirement to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions. It's in the middle of town. It's a very small footprint with which we're able to work and install this well system, design this well system that's going to be able to operate in a pretty narrow space. So we did our absolute best to design it at the earliest possible stage and give them what they call a guaranteed max, so a guaranteed performance for the system. And we said, we think we can get you 225, and if we really work for it, we can get you 250 gallons a minute out of this very small footprint of a system and get it permitted in the middle of town. We did in fact construct it, and we got them about 250, 260 gallons a minute all throughout COVID, and still did that same performance guarantee essentially at a very early point in the project, because we were able to characterize the system so well and walk through permitting.